Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do a small solver project for Professor Wheeler's CIS 9467 class. This is really a small project where I just wanted to show how to utilize solver in Excel to achieve a goal, whether it's to maximize profit or minimize the expense. In this project, I decided to make the scenario of selling various chocolate cakes. These are my favorites, and show how we can use solvers to maximize the profit. And let me walk you through this, what's going on with this mock dessert selling case. On the screen, you will see 6 different kinds of chocolate desserts. The ones that it's highlighted in green, these are profit per item. That just means how much profit that we're gonna have for each of the desserts, and the quantity, which we're going to calculate later, which I'm going to go over. So I have those recipes retrieved from a website called allrecipe.com. It's a really informative website where we can learn a lot of skills on cookings and recipes. So back to our topic. I have all the necessary ingredients copied down from the website. And the ones highlighted in blue, these are amount of recipe that we need in order to make the desserts. I have also made 2 columns. One is inventory use column, one is inventory left column. For inventory use column, that just means that we use quantity times the ingredient that we use, and we add them all 6 desserts up, and we have the inventory that we used. And what's left over, that just means the inventory that we have originally minus whatever that we have been used, and that's what we have left over. The inventory, I made up these numbers because as a seller, you have limited amount of ingredients and you want to make sure that you use them wisely in order to make the highest profits. In this case, we have profit by products, which is how much each of the desserts going to give you. That's also a formula driven, which is by profit per order times the quantity. The total profit, obviously, which we add up all of these sub dessert profits. Now back to our real topic of solver. In this case, I want to use the solver to help me get a optimum amount of quantity in order to maximize my profit. So before to do that, I want to delete all of these quantities. That was when I started to do the project. I have all the information that I put down. I have all the formulas that I need. And now, as a seller, I want to know how much quantity of chocolate street cake do I have to make in order to best utilize all the inventory that I have and maximize my profit. I go to solver and here set objective, which in this case I want to maximize the profit. I click on C30, which is my profit, and I want to maximize it. And in other case, if you're doing the expense and you want to minimize your expense, you can always click on minimize expense. And if you want to set to a specific value, you can always click on value off and put in the specific value that you want. And changing the variable, which in my case is a quantity, I want to make sure that I produce the correct right amount of quantity for each of the desserts in order to make the highest profit. But we do have some constraints. For example, we cannot have inventory left to go negative. It works mathematically, but it doesn't work realistically. In real life, we cannot have negative inventory. Same case as a quantity, we cannot produce a negative quantity. So we have to take these into consideration. To do that, I set my C9 to H9. These are the quantity that we want for each of these desserts. We want to make sure they're always positive number, and we also want to make sure the inventory leftover, these are also positive numbers. I have this all set up all I have to do is I click on solve, and we keep the solver solutions, and we hit OK. Now, in this case, we have a quantity that's produced. The system is smart enough to tell us that in order to maximize your profit of 1300, you have to produce 150 of shortbread squares and 11.55 of chocolate streak cake. Again, back to our real life. If I'm the seller, I cannot produce half of the cake. It just doesn't work that way. So what we can do is, in this case, we have to analyze it more realistically. In the math, we always think that if it's 0.5, we round up, and which becomes 12. But in the real case, we have to think about, if I round this up to 12, does my inventory leftover to go negative? If this is going negative, it doesn't work because we cannot use negative inventory. Inventory cannot be negative, basically. So let's try this up. I set up this as 12 in this case. And as you can see, the inventory left becomes negative of condensed milk. No, it doesn't work. It failed. So all we can do is put in 11. And same as others, as you can see, we have 12.81 of too much. Chocolate cake is never too much. I love it. And we want to make sure that if I'm going to 13, will that change my inventory leftover to be negative number? And let's try this. It doesn't go to negative. That means this now it's working. So always try to make sure that take whatever it's realistically possible and take that into consideration instead of working on math. The solver is good to give the user a mathematic way of doing things, but in real life it could be different. It's never worked perfectly. So that kind of summarized my dessert project, and I wish this is useful. It's, of course, it's very simple, and real life you might have more, but the theory are the same, and I hope you find this very helpful. Thank you.